show. For those of you who join us every Monday during football season, we hand out superlatives. So, Christopher, I will let you do the honors. You get to go first with your initial superlative for Week 8.
I mean, I think the first one I'm going to go with is just the one game we haven't really talked about yet. I mean, the one-man superstar, the one-man band, the cookie monster eating cookies. I mean, Dalvin Cook. I don't know what the hell I want to say about it other than that, like, one-man superstar show, okay? That's what it was. Well, I wanted to make fun of the Packers, too. I wasn't sure where I wanted to go with that. But that game itself was unbelievable yesterday, and Dalvin Cook, of course, was the star of the show. I mean, Green Bay couldn't stop him. I mean, in any capacity, run game, pass game, it didn't matter. You know, and defense on Green Bay, holy cow. I mean, there's issues there. I mean, this was why I know we've talked about it. How real are the Packers? I don't know. I think it's just a good team with a really great quarterback that makes us think they're Super Bowl caliber. I don't really think they're a Super Bowl caliber team, you know. But Dalvin Cook, the way he ran the ball and controlled the clock for the Vikings yesterday and everything about it that way was unbelievable. I mean, think about this game. You know, first off, there was no defense in this game, and the Packers are a team that we hold in the. I mean, it was touchdown Green Bay, touchdown Minnesota, touchdown Green Bay, touchdown Minnesota. Halftime, Minnesota gets the ball, touchdown. Green Bay gets the ball, and it's only 21-14, but they've realized there's no way we're going to stop Minnesota today. Every play is going to be 4 and 5 and 6 and 4 and 5 and 50, and they have to go for it on 4th and 10 on the 37-yard line. Because it's 21-14. Now, I know Mason Crosby was beat up, and it's a little weird part of the field there, but that just speaks to you of what they even thought of their own defense on that day. They don't make the 4th and 10. Dalvin Cook gets the screen pass or a touchdown, and it's like game over. I mean, that was it. So that was an unbelievable performance by him, a guy coming off injury nonetheless. But I think I'm also equally as amazed as I was by him, I'm equally as amazedly concerned with Green Bay and that performance. And it just shows, once again, if they can't play with a lead and make a team pass, when teams can be balanced, everybody moves the ball in Green Bay.
It really was amazing. It was like a tennis match, and the first break was going to win it. And that first half had 4 total possessions.
Is that crazy?
A touchdown, a touchdown, a touchdown, a touchdown, back and forth. And then the Vikings, as you said, they start the second half with a touchdown. Break serve. They're up 28-14, and that's that. And they had to hold on at the end.
Yes, they did.
It felt for a while there like there was going to be an Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary straight up and straight down, and he got hit just as he was trying to let go of the football. Who knows what would have happened if that ball had come out, because we've seen it time and again from Aaron Rodgers. We may have been talking about a 29-28 victory, because you know what they did when they were down 28-14, Chris, and they scored the touchdown. They went analytics. They went
did.
2.
Right.
I don't know how you feel about that.
That one's not as horrible.
Them, so
that one's
wow.
Yeah, I can deal with that. I can. I mean, it's not not my favorite play. But I do understand the logic there. To at least, like, you go for 2. If you don't make it, you're still within 1 score, but you do set yourself up to win the football game with that next score. I can get behind that one more than the we're up by 7 and let's go up by 9 and some of the other ones that are out there that I don't like.
No, but it takes a 1-score game and makes it a 2-score game.
Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I don't like the ones where, like, either way it's still well, wait a minute. If you go for 1 or you go for 2, it's still a 1-score game. If you get neither, it's a 2-score game. Why the hell are you doing that?
Yeah, right.
Like, I don't understand those, but I understand this one, and it almost paid off. But this is about Dalvin Cook, as you said.
Yes.
And Dalvin Cook was phenomenal. 163 rushing yards, 63 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns. The first Vikings player since 1979. Coach Dungy was on the field for that game as a member of the 49ers defense when Ahmad Rashad scored 4 touchdowns for the Vikings. The only other time it's happened for a Viking was Chuck Foreman on a snowy day in Buffalo in 1975. I remember watching that game as a kid. Somebody hit Foreman in the eye with a snowball through his face mask. He was great that day. He was great that year.
What did he do?
And
when he got hit, did he do anything? Did he do anything? I mean, that guy.
No, he just
he didn't do anything.
I think he kept playing, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't pleasant. I mean,
Right.
I remember seeing like the snow in his face mask and his eye all covered up with it. But it was just one of those great old school snow games, and it was a great Saturday afternoon game like the NFL used to do, early afternoon Saturday games. But I digress. I would have sworn Randy Moss had 4 touchdowns at one point, but he didn't. Dalvin Cook did, and when I talked to him after the game. First of all, he said his groin's fine. Obviously, the groin's fine. The injury's healed 3 weeks later. But, I said, when do you know you're going to have a special day like this? He said, well, every game, I think, is going to be like that. We just go out and we start playing and we see how it goes. And he said after that first drive, he gets with Kennedy Polamalu, the running backs coach. He got with Rick Dennison, the offensive line coach and run game coordinator. And he started telling them what's going to work and what's not going to work. And they call the plays that he thinks are going to work. And that's good coaching. When you're receptive to what your players are seeing out on the field, where the openings are, where the weaknesses may be, and you're willing to change up the game plan on the fly based on their input, it helps to have Dalvin Cook.
It does.
But when some coaches are stubborn about that, they're going to do it their way, right, Chris? They're not going to listen. I coach and you play. You let me worry about the plays that are called. When I call your number, you be ready to go. I like it when the players are empowered and encouraged to give that feedback because, we talk all the time, well, are you field level? Are you sitting in the box? There's no perspective like being out there on the field.
No, right.
And if Cook is seeing it and he's able to communicate it in real time and they're able to adjust in real time, look at what that Vikings offense can do.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point. And the fact of, like, you got to have that player that you can, be in the trust tree with. Right, there's some running backs and receivers out there that are just emotional, and they might come to the sideline and do this, but he's obviously, earned their trust that way to where he's not an emotional rah-rah yell type guy, and he probably goes back and makes some legit points, and, of course, he's very good, successful, talented football player, and good for them for listening to him, and he is some running back. Man, we got some big-time running backs in the NFL right now. We really do, and look here. Look at Kirk Cousins yesterday. Man,
you don't need to throw the ball down the field.
Right?
Average air yards, 1.79 per attempt.
Wow.
He completed 11 of 14 passes. He averaged over 11 yards per attempt in, when you throw the yardage in that was gained after the catch.
Yes.
But for the air yards, he was just basically I could throw those.
Yeah, you could
with my right hand
to Dalvin Cook and let him run 50. Right. That's again one of the things I argue against a lot when people start to, look at all this yards per completion. Okay, well, if he's throwing the ball 1 yard to the flat and the guy's running 20 yards, I'm not really that impressed. I mean, that's great and all, but big win for the Vikings. The Vikings, I heard somebody on TV, or I might have heard like Kyle Rudolph over the weekend, maybe on Pro Football Talk, Mike, where he's just talking about like, it is truly one of the better 2-5 teams we've seen.
Are you being sarcastic? Of course you saw it on PFT.
Is that what I saw it? I couldn't think of where the hell I saw it. I couldn't remember. I wasn't being sarcastic. I couldn't remember. But I will say it is a very impressive 2-5 team. There's no doubt.
You would have remembered if you didn't have to wait 20 minutes to get in the building today. That wiped your memory clean of everything.
I think some other things wiped my memory clean this weekend.
Try to be nice. All right, first one for me. Maybe they need OBJ after all award. It was funny last week, that narrative where the Browns pushed back on the idea that the offense may be better without Odell Beckham Jr. No, it won't be. Well, you're right. Congratulations, Browns. You're right. The offense isn't as good without Odell Beckham Jr. Now, who knows if he would have made a difference. But, man, at a time when we thought the Browns were maybe going to start finding that gas pedal, win the games they should win, and this was the one that fell into that, I don't know, maybe they win, maybe they lose. You never know which Raiders team is going to show up. Well, it was a cold and windy and nasty day, and the team that isn't used to playing in cold, windy, and nasty showed up and got it done. Baker Mayfield did not get it done. Now, the bulk of his passing numbers last week came without Odell Beckham Jr., so that's not an apples-to-apples thing in any way, shape, or form. But you're not going to win many games when your starting quarterback has 122 passing yards and your running game isn't there either like it usually is. And, it just felt like a lost opportunity for the Browns. Even though it wasn't a blowout, they never felt like they were in sync. They just felt like they were a half step behind the Raiders all day long, and that proved itself.
Yeah,
in the
it definitely did. I think they're one of those teams like we just mentioned a few minutes ago too, Mike, where it's like Cleveland. They're a team I'll throw into the category of if they can't run the ball, I'm not sure I trust the other elements of their offense to really come through. I think that's still a big question mark. Got to give John Gruden credit. The Raiders football team, they're trying to build something there. They're not perfect yet, but, man, they play tough. They do play tough. And Gruden has instilled some toughness as far as their run game. He pounded the rock yesterday, and they physically just slowly wore down that Cleveland front, which was, it's one of the great strengths of this Raiders football team. They have a great offensive line. So that was a big win. And you're right. It was just like, you thought, Cleveland's not playing good, but I don't know. Can they maybe pull it out? Jarvis Landry had a few drops. He has that play that, gets overturned in the end zone. Hunter Renfrow has that other catch that I also think hit the ground. It just wasn't a great angle to really prove it. They get the touchdown. It was a close football game, but the Raiders were the desperate team, and they came through. And, we'll see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I don't see much difference between those two, and one's a touchdown and one's not a touchdown.
Right.
And there were some interesting replay review calls yesterday, and it becomes more glaring because officiating hadn't been an issue most of the year. I sent a text around to all the PFT writers on Saturday. What's the officiating controversy this year? It's the Patrick Mahomes in the grass play. Remember that one?
Yeah, right, against the Patriots.
Against the Patriots.
Right.
But if there were several yesterday, and we'll be talking about some of them maybe coming up, especially that weird one last night in the Cowboys-Eagles game that allowed the Eagles to cover the spread when it looked like Vinny Curry was down with the ball, but somehow that wasn't overturned on replay review. All right, Chris, what's your next superlative?
I got a fever, and the only cure is Patrick Mahomes, okay? I got a fever, Florio, all right? I'm going with a fever because he threw 5 touchdown passes, right? Fever 5.
That's not a good.
I don't care. That's what it came.
That's not a good Christopher Walken. It didn't even sound like Phil Sims.
Sorry, that's just what I'm going with here, okay? My homies,
Obviously.
my homie, your homie. Whenever he's on, we watch because he's amazing. I don't even give a crap if it's the Jets, all right? I don't give a damn. Mahomes, quietly 21 touchdown passes, 1 interception on the year, second in football in yards, and he's only second to Matt Ryan, who's losing every week, so has to bring his team back, right? I mean, having an MVP caliber season. I mean, he's the MVP of football if it isn't for one guy up in the Northwest. That's how special it was. And yesterday, it wasn't their best football game, but man, did he make some plays and throws that, again, it's been an hour, and we haven't talked about the best team in football and the best player in the game, and I just couldn't help it any longer. The first touchdown pass, I believe it was, down the middle to McCole Hardman. I mean, that was the one I'm thinking about, right? Or no, I'm thinking of the second one, the 36-yard touchdown post down the middle, Mike. I mean, you heard me when we were watching yesterday.
I heard you. Oh, I heard you. I heard you here in West Virginia.
He doesn't always.
I heard what you yelled out.
Yeah, because,
a certain type of missile.
Yep, it was a piss missile is what I call it. Just we're digital, aren't we? It doesn't matter anymore. But either way, I mean, he reared back, and he doesn't always rear back and let go for his 105-mile-per-hour fastball. And he threw a ball 48 yards down the field, 5 feet off the ground, and I just went. I mean, I was drooling. But just love watching him play. He's amazing, and it's the quietest 21-1 and I've ever seen out of a quarterback where nobody talks about it because literally we got to the point with Patrick Mahomes where we expect him to throw for 40-plus to 50 touchdown passes and play awesome every week to where 416 and 5 touchdowns is really like second-hour news now in Mahomes' life. That's how awesome he is.
Yeah. And you made the observation, too, when they showed the replay in slow motion. Everything was in slow motion except the football.
Right? I mean, it was you couldn't even still see the football. It was still like tracers on there. It's unreal.
Oh, Matt Casey said that, not you.
Oh, the hell with him. He's a Jets fan. Yeah. We don't want to hear what he has to say.
And here's the thing. I'm not ready to rule out Patrick Mahomes in the MVP chase because – Chris, I really do believe that it's so tied to getting that 1 seed, and there's going to be an AFC 1 seed, an NFC 1 seed, and I think the quarterback from one of those top seeds is going to be the MVP. So if it's Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes both with the 1 seed, I don't know how that's going to play out. But if it's not Wilson, right, and if it's, let's say it's the Buccaneers are the 1 seed, then you got Mahomes versus Brady. I mean, I just think the 1 seed is going to drive it. And if the Chiefs are the 1 seed, it's going to be hard to not give it to Patrick Mahomes. 21 touchdown passes, 1 interception so far this year. That one came against the Raiders. That was the Jeff Heath pick.
That's right.
And that's a game that the Chiefs should not have lost. Yeah. They should be better than a 2-loss team, but they're going to keep rolling. I think that game kind of woke them up, and they're focused now, and we're going to see them not stumble against lesser teams and continue to play well against great teams. All right, next one for me. Let's see. What do I have here? How about the Didn't You Used to Be Taysom Hill award? Because Taysom Hill, they're finally using the guy.
Yeah.
He scored a touchdown.
Right.
He had, I got to get the numbers up here, but it's the most he's done offensively all year. I'd still like to see more out of him. I still think he's capable of being a bigger piece of the offense, and I think the Saints are going to regret not using him more if they don't start winning these games a little more easily and start losing some games. Like, I think next Sunday night they need to go heavy on Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
But it's good to see him finally playing the way he did in that playoff game. You know, people are like, oh, you're too high on Taysom Hill. It's like, did you not watch the Vikings-Saints playoff game? There's a reason I'm high on Taysom Hill. He was the best player on the field that day. He had 35 rushing yards on 5 attempts yesterday, and he had 30 yards receiving, including a 20-yard touchdown. So, you know, he should be in position to have more than 65 total yards in a game.
Yep.
He didn't throw a pass, which is good, I guess. But he should be doing it all. They should be getting the most out of this guy. They paid him. It was good to see it yesterday. They let the Bears hang around more than they should have. I'm stunned the Bears scored 23 points, but I was happy to see more Taysom Hill. If you're going to pay this guy the money, you need to use him.
Yeah, I agreed. And, you know, they're a team that's, you know, a little offensively challenged as far as explosive plays, you know, to where that's where I think he can really help them out a little bit. You know, again, it's just, can you always ask and can you always expect your offense to go on 10 and 12 play drives and nobody rip off a big chunk of yards on a certain play? Kamara is really the only guy that can do that. So that's why, I mean, I'm with you. I think they need more Taysom Hill. I don't know what to think of the Saints. I really don't. You know, how good are they? What are they? I don't know. There's things about their team. I look at them and I just go, man, I like it. Offensive line, defensive line, you know, of course, Breeze, and they can execute on the offensive side of the ball. The defense has moments of being dominant. I mean, as far as yards are concerned, it's a top 10 defense in football. But, I mean, every week they let up big plays. And when you're letting up big plays to Nick Foles and the Bears, that's when you know you have a problem with letting up big plays. Because they don't make big plays against anybody. They can't. You could take the defense off the field most weeks and they still can't make a play. So that is concerning to me. And I'll tell you the other thing that's concerning again. You know, again, Drew Brees outside. You know, the numbers will look okay yesterday. I get it. But, man, the ball was not looking real peppy yesterday. And that would concern me too. Because if it's the playoffs and they got to go Green Bay, you know, Seattle, something like that, where it could just be a little nasty, you know, it's just a huge disadvantage for the Saints football team that way.
And they've got the game at Tampa Bay next Sunday night on NBC. Then they host the 49ers. So we're going to learn some more about the Saints the next couple of weeks. We'll see if they get Michael Thomas back. The ankle became a hamstring. They had the disciplinary issue with him a few weeks ago. They need him back on the field. They need him to be focused and determined. And if he comes back, and, you know, we're talking about all the things that Antonio Brown can do for the Buccaneers as of next week. Well, if Michael Thomas comes back, he can do even more for the Saints. So, you know, if they've gotten through this stretch without him and he's going to come back and be the guy he was last year, there's no guarantee. It feels so long ago that he was that guy.
Yeah.
You almost wonder, can he be that guy again? But if he can be that guy again, there's no reason to think he can't be. Then that could be a difference for the Saints. But look, they have an opportunity, a huge opportunity on Sunday night, because if they complete the sweep of the Buccaneers, because the Saints won back in week 1, then that makes it a lot harder for the Buccaneers to jump them for the division championship, Chris.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And, you know, the way it looks right now, I mean, you know, we'll watch tonight, but we fully expect the Buccaneers to win, beat the Giants. And, you know, the Buccaneers just, when we talk about good football teams, they have a lot of the aspects of the things you like. I mean, there's just really not any glaring weakness or one thing that we can just there's nothing. I mean, it really isn't. I mean, what is it? What is the weakness of the Buccaneers? What do you think it is? Like, just off the top of your head. I don't even know either. I'm truly just going off. Inexperience in the secondary, maybe? I mean, it's really about as far as I can go. I don't know if there's anything else where I go, ooh, well, Brady's not throwing the ball downfield. No, check. He's throwing it awesome. They run the ball. They pass protect. They could stop the run.
And that was one of the questions early on.
Yeah.
The offensive line, was he going to be good enough?
Right.
Especially if he was going to hold the ball and let guys get open down the field.
Yeah.
The offensive line has gotten better on the fly, and I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if it's his presence. I don't know what it is. But that team, everyone is elevated.
They have.
The guys that were questionable coming into the year are getting better. And that's just part of that championship vibe that Tom Brady carries around with him, isn't it?
It definitely is. That's what a great quarterback does. We've talked about it a lot this year. The great quarterback, it gives everybody confidence in the locker room. Like, hey, we can win every game. We can win every game. That guy's in the locker room. And then nobody wants to disappoint that guy either. So everybody raises their game. They don't want to be, you're the jerk that keeps messing up, huh? You're the reason we lost. Nobody wants to be that guy. So he's awesome. And then Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich deserve a lot of credit because I believe they have really molded or got Brady to be a little bit more aggressive, and they did it in a smart way. They've really done a good job of being like, when you want to throw the ball down the field, right? No risk it, no biscuit. Bruce Arians. They have, every time he does that for the most part, they basically max protect it, keep 7, 8 guys in, so he can go back with a clear mind and not be peeking over his shoulder or anything like that. And I think that's given him the confidence to get back there and fire again. And you can see now he's starting to fire no matter what the protection is, and that's where they're scary, and we'll see how scary they are tonight.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you before we go to your next superlative.
Right.
Because Bruce Arians was talking about this last week, that he hopes that they win it all, and both Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, and Byron Leftwich, the offensive coordinator, will end up getting jobs elsewhere as head coaches.
Right.
What if they win it all and Arians walks away?
Right.
Which of the two guys ends up taking over?
That's what I just thought of. When you just said it, I just went, wait, well, what if Arians could walk away this year? This could be it for him. I mean, I don't know. I guess if they're going to keep Tom Brady and the thing they got going rolling, I want to say Byron Leftwich. I think a lot of Todd Bowles, too. He's a good defensive mind, and, of course, he was up here in that crap stew called the New York Jets, and it's not easy to be successful there. But Leftwich, I feel like, is like that young, going to be that young, hot offensive mind, Mike, to where I just don't know if organizations are going to be willing to part ways with that type of guy.
Yeah, that's right, because if you make it Bowles, you got Leftwich one more year. Or if you don't give it to Leftwich, you may lose him if you give it to Bowles as the head coach. He may be elsewhere as a head coach right away.
Right.
So I don't disagree with that. All right, give me one more superlative.
How about yeehaw, ride that horsey. We got a horsey in the race. That's right. Yeah, Indianapolis Colts. Don't forget about them.
I thought you were talking about the Patrick Mahomes Tyreek Hill touchdown celebration.
Well, you're right. That was some yee horsey too. You're right. No doubt about it. But I mean, sitting there atop of the division with the Tennessee Titans, we haven't even talked about the Colts, 5-2. Real good win by them yesterday. I mean, really saw it all. Again, Phillip Rivers was pretty good, played a clean football game. They were able to run the ball, and their defense showed some of their dominance once again. And really the defense put the game away. The game being, what was it at that point, 28-14. Then Stafford throws the pick six. But really, I want to re-talk that. The defense really, it was 20-14, caused a fumble, then made it 28-14, then got this pick six to go up 35-14. So really a well-rounded win. And even the Colts have been a little bit of a roller coaster this year. And they're a work in progress, a little like the Tampa Bay team we just talked about. There's still some elements of their team that are very intriguing. And we probably don't give them the credit we deserve because they have been up and down, but I think they're going to have a say in this AFC before it's all said and done, too.
But that's the thing with the Colts. Once we start buying
I
in,
know.
Then they crap the bed, as you would say, like they did against the Browns. And so then we pull back, and we're like, all right, we're going to wait and see. And then they start piling up wins. Like, all right, we're starting to believe. So we're setting ourselves up.
Yep.
Right? They've got the Ravens this week.
Yeah.
All right,
I know.
Colts, there's your chance, right? Prove that you really do belong and prove that those two losses that you have are aberrations.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.